Hello and welcome to another episode of Those Two IM Guys. I'm James Kennedy and I'm here with my co-host Tony Earp. Really delighted that you are here to join us on another episode. Tony, let's talk about what we're doing today. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, James, and welcome to our viewers and listeners. Thanks for joining us. Today, James, we're going to be discussing the differences between shopping carts and payment processors. Now, obviously, as seasoned marketers, we're aware of what the difference is. We're aware of the different options available in the marketplace. But I think it's fair to say, if you're new to starting an online business, you may not be familiar with those terms and certainly the options available.
Yeah, and it can be quite confusing. As you say, some people think one's one and one's another, or one does everything. In actual fact, it doesn't. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and believe it or not, James, the question I get asked quite a lot is, what is the difference between a shopping cart and a payment processor?
Tony, what is the difference between a shopping cart and a payment processor?
Okay, funny you should ask that question, James. I think our viewers and listeners are probably getting sick of that joke now, but they get the picture, yeah? Well, basically, James, a shopping cart, the best way to explain that is it's like the virtual equivalent of a grocery cart that you push around your local store.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect way to explain it, really, in layman's terms, yeah? And the way I like to refer to it is it's the process that a customer goes through before they click the buy button. Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's that part where they fill out the order details, they add it to the basket, they choose the payment method, and then they click buy. It's that process before they click the buy button, yeah? Mm-hmm. And the next bit, obviously, is payment processors. Or payment gateways, as is sometimes known.
Yeah, often.
And a payment processor or a gateway or even a merchant service, James, they all mean the same thing. They're all one and the same, but these different terms get thrown around, yeah? It's basically their services that they process credit card payments for e-commerce sites, any type of online sale, and even traditional bricks and mortar businesses as well. That want to take offline payments, yeah? Yeah,
absolutely.
So we've all done it where we've walked into our favorite coffee shop and we've ordered our favorite, coffee, latte, cappuccino, whatever the case may be, whatever your preference is, and they've got the little card machine out and we've paid by card, yeah?
I've done the very thing when I came to visit you myself.
There you go.
Done that. Ching.
So when we tap our card on that cardless device, that is then taking our payment and that payment is being processed, yeah? And that is what we're talking about payment processors, gateways, or merchant accounts. It's the bit that happens after you click buy now or pay now with your debit card or credit card, yeah?
Definitely.
Right. Were you aware of that was the difference, James? I'm sure you were.
Yes, I was. But as I say, there is some that people think, obviously, I do believe there is ones that do all of it, but there's a lot of it that do only one part, and a lot of people do get confused by that. And they're like, oh, what do they do now?
The two things are completely separate, even though they work seamlessly together, James, yeah?
Yeah.
And when you're considering a payment processor, stroke gateway, stroke merchant account, there's several considerations you need to be looking at, because if you look online for these payment processors, James, there's hundreds of them.
Yeah,
you'll be totally overwhelmed, as to where do I start.
Not to mention different commission rates as well.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the considerations. But like I say, there's hundreds of these, James. Where do I start? What's the right payment gateway for me? What's the correct shopping cart for me to use with my type of website? All those questions. And in this episode, we're going to go through some of the options that me and you are both well aware of and we both use in our business. Yeah.
Awesome.
Or we know people that use these in their businesses as well. And there's some of the most popular ones online also. So, okay, a few things you need to consider. Number one, does it integrate with your type of website? I think that's a basic consideration you need to be looking at, James, isn't it?
I would think so. But again, so many people will be watching the episode thought, I never thought about that. I just thought I could pick one and it would work with any website, and the big problem is they don't. Obviously a lot of the big players do with more or less everything, but not them all.
No, and you need to look at, can you integrate it yourself? Or if you're going to have the additional expense of having to hire a developer to integrate it into your type of website for you.
And before you do that, always check Zapier.
Always check Zapier. If you're not familiar with Zapier, guys, it's an amazing software stroke app platform that basically bridges a lot of apps and platforms, James, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Super powerful.
It's like virtual duct tape.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with it, go and Google it, check it out, Zapier, because we wouldn't have enough time to discuss.
That's an episode in itself.
That's an episode on its own, and probably several episodes, to be fair. Another consideration is what other integrations are available as well, James. For things like autoresponders. If you want to capture the customer's email address, for example, during the checkout process, I think that's a factor you need to take into consideration. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Another thing, how long is the setup process? Again, this goes back to, can you integrate it easily yourself, or are you going to have to hire a developer where it may take them a few hours, a few days to integrate it with your type of website? Yeah. As
opposed to sometimes if it's something quite simple, it's the matter of just taking an API code, integrating it, and you're done. And again, that's always the best option.
Yeah, and
don't be afraid of that stuff either. It's very simple.
Yeah, as you said, James, that the message to our viewers and listeners out there is, don't be daunted by this stuff, guys, because generally the platform of your choice, whether that's payment processor or shopping cart system, you're going to be able to integrate it yourself quite easily with your type of website. But there are exceptions to that. So all these considerations I'm going through are real. You do need to look at all these before you decide which option you're going to go with. Yeah.
Diligence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because I'm trying to avoid saying it so much today. Yeah. Big factor, big consideration you need to look at is, will the security of your business and your customers be assured? Is it safe?
And that's massive, guys, because ultimately, these people are trusting you with their confidential details, and more importantly, not just their name and their address and their email, but their bank details. If somebody hacks that and then rips them off, then you're partially to blame here. You're obviously, you're a part of the problem there, not the solution. So
absolutely. So yeah, I think security, it's fair to say, when buying anything online, is a major factor, isn't it? We all want our personal and financial information to be safe and secure, don't we?
Definitely.
Another thing to take into consideration, James, is, does it support multiple payment methods? Can your customers pay by credit card? Can they pay by debit card? Mm-hmm. Can they pay by PayPal?
Yep. Bitcoin as well.
If you're an offline business, are you going to get given a point of sale device where people can pay, contactless? Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. All those are relevant depending on your type of business, and certainly these days, James, I think it's a prerequisite, isn't it, that the majority of customers want to be able to pay by credit card, debit card, or by PayPal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think credit, debit, and PayPal are an absolute must. But again, there's other options, as I say, Stripe, Bitcoin, various different things, and it's all becoming. I don't know if you've noticed recently, Tony, but more and more are allowing you to pay by crypto on a lot of things, and it's like, wow, how would I be?
Yeah.
I've
noticed that happening, James, of course, and as you have yourself, and that's going to become more and more the case as the months and years roll on. There's going to be, crypto payments eventually. I think we all feel will become just as standard as paying with money. Paying with a credit or debit card.
Yeah, definitely.
Big factor, big consideration. I would say this is probably one of the top two, is what fees will you have to pay?
Yeah, ultimately.
Because to use that payment gateway, that merchant account or whatever, the good chances are you're going to have to pay a monthly fee, an annual fee. And that will, what that cost will be will depend on the size of your business and how many transactions you're processing, James, won't it?
Yeah, and again, look at your business and think to yourself, how much business am I doing? And again, we're talking in the broad spectrum here of general business, whether you're actually taking cash or whether everything's 100% online, because there's not only, some will come with a processing fee for everything and no monthly or annual fees, but that processing fee will be higher. So you've got to weigh up, is it worth paying that monthly fee for the lower? Again, it's all working out how it's going to benefit you, because ultimately it's coming out of your profit at the end of the day.
Yep, and it's not just about the fees for the platform, the payment processor platform you decide to choose, James. It's about the transaction fees as well, because it's relevant, guys. A lot of these payment processors will differ in what they charge you per transaction. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. It can depend on the country you're in. It can depend on the currency. All these are factors that you need to take into consideration before you choose the right solution for you. Yeah. Another big one. How long is the settlement period? How long is it before the payment processor is going to pay me?
Yeah. Have you any idea how many businesses go under, Tony, because of the lack of fluid capital within their business? Because they can't pay anything because they've got money lying. I mean, I think Russell Brunson in particular nearly went to the wall because PayPal had held on to so much of his money and he couldn't afford to pay staff and obviously bills. Yeah, a big factor,
Yeah, and I think that's a great story that proves the point, really, isn't it?
Definitely.
If you've got someone of that caliber that is being affected by the payment processor holding on to their funds, which is then, restricting cash flow to their business. If it can happen to them, trust me, guys, it can happen to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, the settlement period, when are you going to receive your money? What length of time is that going to be from when the payment processor receives it to when it's actually going to be sent to you? Is that going to be a day, 2 days, a week, a month? You need to be looking into that information, guys. It's super important. And again, probably one of the top two, James, I would say, yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, as I say, if you know that you need money to pay your bills and things like that, and if that's going to take longer than you can afford to do, even if you need to go to another person that's going to take slightly higher commissions, but they're going to turn it around within 7 days, 14 days. I mean, some of these go up to 90 days and they've got the right to hold your money if they're not sure of how you've allocated these funds due to online fraud and things like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into that release period, James, and refunds is a big one.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
If you're getting a lot of refunds, guys, that release period will be quite a long period.
Yeah.
Because it's that sends a red flag to the payment processor that potentially you're a business that may get more than an average amount of refunds. Yeah.
And even with JVZoo, and obviously JVZoo is technically I suppose a pro. I don't know what you would class that as a processor.
It's a marketplace, James.
A marketplace, right? But even obviously my JVZoo account, they hold about $550 on mine constantly. Yeah. And it's not.
Why do you think they do that?
In case we get any refunds.
Correct.
But the reality is, even though 2 months down the line.
Yeah, and again, we don't want to get into the affiliate side of things here, guys, but the reason they do that, James, is because it depends on your affiliate reputation.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So once they can see you're a solid affiliate, and you're not getting many refunds, or when you do get the odd refund, there's money there to repay those refunds.
Yeah.
Your affiliate credibility will increase to the next level.
Right.
So your release period will become less.
So there you go. There's a lesson.
It's very typical of what we're talking about with payment processors, guys, about when they will release funds to you. It's about building up that credibility with their particular business, with their particular platform. Yeah.
So there you go. I learned something new there today as well. Perfect.
There you go. That's what those two I Am Guys is all about, James, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And I'll just mention, guys, at this point, all the resources we're going to mention during this episode, as usual, I will put them in a post in the recommended resources area of our website, those2iamguys.com. Okay? So you don't need to be writing all this down, struggling to find a pen and paper. Just go to our website in the recommended resources section, and there will be a post with all these resources in there for you, yeah? That we're going to mention during this episode. Now, I think a crucial thing, James, to take into consideration is what level of customer support will you receive?
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, some of these, you would think is standard, all these platforms, because they're major worldwide companies, yeah? You would think that they would have a live chat as standard, wouldn't you?
You would, but not always the case.
Not always the case.
No.
And again, we're all in different time zones, guys. So it's crucial that you look at what level of customer support you're going to receive for your subscription level, because sometimes a lot of these platforms, they have a standard subscription and say a standard plus, where you get superior support when you need it. I personally don't agree with that, James. I think everyone should get the same level of support.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just a great money spinner for the platform, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, it's like, I mean, something, and you've got to remember that some customers can be, when I say customers, I'm talking about you as a customer of that platform, can be hugely demanding, and obviously, what you've got to realize is that does take up resources, and everybody should wait their turn, but there's some people that genuinely feel that they don't have to wait their turn, and that's the people I find that then spend money paying the extra for that VIP service. But again, I don't agree with it. We should all wait in the same line.
It should be the same support for everybody. If they're a customer, they're a customer as far as I'm concerned. They get the same level of support. But obviously, be aware, guys, that isn't the case with these payment processors. Again, that's a really big consideration you need to be factoring into your buying decision of what solution you're going to use for your business.
I was going to say, it just reminds me when you go to the theme park and you've been standing in that queue for an hour, and then some plonker comes along waving their gold VIP thing and walks straight to the line. You just want to douche them.
That's again a perfect example, James, of what we're talking about.
Exactly.
They're getting the priority because they paid for that priority.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a direct correlation with what we're trying to explain with the support with the payment processes. Yeah. So, what option stroke solution you choose for your business is going to really depend on those factors we've discussed. And as we've already said, plus the country you're in and the currency you want to receive your funds in. Because believe it or not, guys, some of these payment processors don't want to work with some countries.
Yeah, well, no.
Two that I would mention is South Africa. Have a big problem with getting payment processors that will use their currency, and India is another one. Have you found any others, James?
Yeah, well, I've never obviously dealt in those. I always online I deal in US dollars. It's the internet currency, in my opinion. It's what everything I do is US dollars. Even me and you being the UK, where we deal in GBP, Great British Pounds, it's just much easier for conversions as well, because how often have you charged certain money and you don't get your worth because obviously you're buying in dollars? So I tend to keep two funds going, but GBP is...
I think it's fair to say, James, if you're dealing in British pounds, euros, USD, Australian dollars or Canadian dollars, you're pretty safe. You're going to have multiple choices, hundreds of choices. And as we've already said, James, there's hundreds of options online, hundreds of solutions available online. We're discussing the ones we know, trust, and are familiar with,
So let's get into some of those.
Consideration as well, James, is that you mentioned JVZoo. That's another consideration. Are you going to be selling your products on a third-party marketplace or on your own website? Because if you're using a third-party marketplace like JVZoo, ClickBank, Warrior Plus, to name only three, they will process all the payments for you because they have built-in shopping cart. So effectively, that is your shopping cart and your payment processor combined, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, quite reasonable for what they do.
No, there is a cost that comes with that.
Yeah, I still find it quite reasonable, but yeah, I mean, it's for what it is. I think it's great. It's an all-in-one platform. They handle everything for you.
Yeah.
I think that the percentage that they take, I think, is relatively fair, especially it being a digital product.
Yeah.
If I was selling something that was a physical product that I had to ship and obviously had to produce, then it might not be the same case.
Yeah, and let's remember as well that it's a marketplace, so your products are going to be listed in their marketplace.
Potential
and
customers.
Potentially you could make, organic sales from the facts, that from their traffic, basically from their organic traffic. Yeah. So that's another plus. So, and again, there's plus and minuses, pros and cons to all these things, isn't there? You've got, as we like to say, you've got to do your due diligence and your research and make sure that the solution you're choosing is right for you based on all the considerations and factors that we're discussing in this episode. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about shopping carts, James. We'll talk about some popular shopping carts, shall we?
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll, I'm pretty sure you will be familiar with all, if not most of these. So let's talk about Pay Kickstart. Now, you've heard of Pay Kickstart.
Yeah, not used it personally. Well, as an affiliate I do, but not actually.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I've not got enough good things to say about this platform. And it's not because I know the vendor, James. The vendor is a quality guy, but he's a quality vendor. They offer quality support. It's a quality product, yeah? There's a lot of qualities in there, but that sums up Pay Kickstart, yeah?
Yeah.
It's an amazing platform. It's got all the bells and the whistles that you would want from a shopping cart system, yeah?
What I like about it, instant payment pretty much.
Yeah. The other thing as well is that if you want to start your own affiliate program, you've got that built into Pay Kickstart as well, James.
Yeah, it's a nice platform.
But again, monthly or annual subscription, transaction fees, etc., which is typical with this type of platform, yeah?
Yeah.
And to be expected, to be fair, yeah? But the other thing is you've got to look at integrates with pretty much all websites very easily, all the integrations you would ever need, super easy to use. It's got all the pro features you would expect, like one-click upsells and that sort of thing, James, hasn't it?
Yeah, and what I like about it is the fact that they're not one of the biggest players. So I think they tend to give you a lot more value for what you're paying for.
Yeah, I agree.
They're kind of trying to compete with a lot bigger players and give great value.
Yeah. You can't say their price points are expensive for what they're giving you compared to other solutions. And other solutions we're talking about, guys, is, for example, Kartra.
Expensive.
Again, another big player, been around a long time, but, subscription-based. Another one, which is a popular one, James, Samcar.
Yep, Samcar's big.
Yeah, that's a popular solution as well. Another one, Infusionsoft, which is now called Keep.
And it's an incredible piece of software, but hugely expensive.
Yeah.
That's
and
a big player job.
And then we've got your third-party platforms that we've been discussing, James, like ClickBank, like JVZoo, like Warrior Plus, where you don't have the subscription that you do with, with Samcar, Infusionsoft stroke Keep, Kartra and Pay Kickstart. You don't have the monthly or annual subscription, but you do have the transaction fees.
Yeah, so it's literally a pay-as-you-go service.
Literally a pay-as-you-go service, yeah. So all these are pros and cons, guys. But by far, for the value for money, James, my favourite is Thrivecart.
Thrivecart.
Yeah. Thrivecart is my choice of shopping cart, outside of obviously the marketplaces we've already discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I like about it? Well, one, it's very similar to Pay Kickstart, in all fairness. It's got a lot of the pro functionality that Pay Kickstart's got. There's pros and cons, of course, but it's currently still a one-time payment. So you can buy Thrivecart for $500 or $600 one time, no monthly or annual subscriptions. You've obviously still got your transactional costs, through your payment processor, but that's outside of Thrivecart. Thrivecart is just your shopping cart solution, yeah? So you can pay once and never pay again. And this is by a company that's grown this product for many years, James. Tried, trusted vendors, great support. And the other thing, which is a bonus that they've just added to the platform, they've added an e-learning platform as well, James, called Learn.
Yeah, you were telling me. Which
is included in the price. So if you've got, a knowledge base, or if you've got FAQs, or if you've got training, or anything that's going to help your customers use your product or service, you don't have to pay for a separate platform.
It's excellent, really.
You can use the Learn functionality in Thrivecart to set up your help desk, so to speak, your knowledge base, your training materials, and you've then got rid of the cost of having to pay for a separate platform for that part of your business, yeah?
Tony, can I ask you a question there?
Sure.
Now, excuse my ignorance, I don't know, but is Thrivecart connected to Thrive Architect and all that stuff? Is it the same?
All the same business, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like their platform, their actual website platform as well is.
Yeah, these are established long-term vendors, James.
Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. They've got a great reputation. They look after their customers. They constantly upgrade their softwares. They're not going anywhere.
The reason I wanted to bring that up is because if some of our viewers or listeners are thinking, yeah, what happens if I pay that money up front and they're gone next week? I've just lost a lot of money. But the reality is what else does Thrive have? They've got Thrive. They've got lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, they've got lots of stuff, lots of different products. But yeah, guys, your money's safe. Yeah, I totally understand your anxiety about paying once and then what, like James says, what happens if they go out of business next week? I totally get that.
Yeah,
and your concerns about that. But trust me, this business has been around for years. They constantly developing Thrivecart and their other products. They have been threatening for the last few months to convert Thrivecart to a monthly and annual subscription, James. But as we speak,
it's still one time
today, which is the 28th of January 2022, it is still a one-time payment, which is unbelievable for the quality of this software, to be fair, James.
Amazing.
Certainly the best value for money, and it's my go-to platform, for this type of shopping cart solution, yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, let's move on to payment processors, payment gateways, merchant accounts, whatever you want to call them, James. It's all the same thing, isn't it? And we'll go through a few popular ones.
Tony, I want to do a bit of mind reading. I'm thinking the first one that you're thinking of is PayPal.
On this occasion, James, you would be wrong.
Really? It's massive.
These are in no particular order, but PayPal is in there, obviously. Yeah. So, guys, some of the most popular ones used online are Worldpay.
Yeah, massive.
Now, no matter what bank you're with anywhere in the world, I guarantee you they have got a partnership with Worldpay. Yeah? But you don't have to go through your bank to be able to use Worldpay. Worldpay are an independent business. You can go to their website and sign up independently of your bank, yeah?
Wasn't aware of that, but that's great to know.
Another one, very popular for credit card and debit card payments, trusted throughout the world, Stripe.
Great product, especially for online, because they're a little bit more accepting of online businesses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what really they're geared for, James. They're geared towards the online, the online business, where you're solely getting, you're selling your products and services solely online, and those transactions are being paid, those purchases are being made by debit or credit card. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what Stripe are all about. Then we've got the one you mentioned, which we can't ignore really,
No,
though
it's the monster.
People have mixed feelings about this particular business. But it is a monster, and it is PayPal. It's the monster that is PayPal. And they do have a place. They have done for many years. I think it's over a decade now, James.
Yeah, they're massive.
And they will do for many, many years to come, no doubt about that.
Do you want to know an interesting fact that I didn't know? You probably know it, and probably everybody else knows it. Elon Musk started PayPal. I didn't know that.
Yes, he did. He was one of the founding partners, yeah.
Didn't know that.
He was one of the founding partners, wasn't he?
Yeah.
When they first started, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say that any business that Elon Musk is part of tends to do pretty well.
They do not bad. They do not bad. Who ever thought anybody would ever make an electric car look sexy?
Yeah,
yeah.
That old electric car thing might work out for him soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Another great solution is Payline. Now, it's not one that a lot of people will be familiar with, but trust me, it's a very popular one with a lot of businesses online, as is Adyen, Adyen. Another very popular one, James.
I've heard of that one.
And again, you've got to look at why these are popular, guys. Why are these the most popular platforms? And I guarantee you, a lot of the reason for that will be geography, where your business is in the world. The currency conversions, are they accepting your currency? That sort of thing. Will they accept payments because of where you're based geographically on the globe? Yeah. Trust me, it's a big consideration, James, and a lot of people don't realize that. They think, it doesn't matter where I am in the world, I can use any platform out there, and that isn't the case.
And I think a lot of people don't realize how privileged they are for the opportunities that they've got. The fact that if you're living in the Western world, like as we've spoke about, the UK, America, Canada, Australia, the US, this is where it's all at, and I mean, everything's much more preferential because it's geared up towards our currencies.
And guys, that doesn't mean that if you're living in other parts of the world that there aren't solutions for you out there. There are. But again, you're going to have to do your research, you're going to have to do your due diligence, because if you don't do that, you will be choosing the wrong solution, which could result in you paying an unnecessary subscription. It could result in you paying higher transaction fees than you need to. And it could result in you having to wait longer to receive your actual money.
Being lazy can cost you money. Yeah,
exactly. I'll roll on with these solutions, James.
Yep, carry on.
Another one, which is very popular, probably one of the top two worldwide, Authorize.net. Very, very popular, James. Massive payment processor. And another really good one that we will be familiar with is Payoneer.
Yes.
And the reason Payoneer is very popular, guys, because you'll find a lot of developers in India and other Asian countries use Payoneer because payments in their currency can be accepted and that sort of thing. Yeah. So Payoneer, if you're in those countries, is one for you to go and look at, guys. Yeah. Another one that is overlooked as well, James, SagePay.
SagePay is a good one.
A lot of people look at Sage as obviously an accountancy software, which it is, and it's a globally recognized leader as for financial software, but it also has a payment processor side of it as well.
Which is really, really good when it comes to you actually doing your accounts, guys, because these things can integrate, which means that they will literally do all your accounts for you.
Yeah. And we already, from a previous episode, we know that a lot of e-commerce sites are built on a really amazing platform called WordPress.
Yeah.
And a great solution for WordPress is, and you'll know this one, James, WooCommerce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I've used it.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of e-commerce websites out there, big percentage that will be powered by WooCommerce, James. I think it's fair to say. Yeah. It's probably the most widely used product of its type that that integrates seamlessly with WordPress, isn't it?
Just a plugin. It really is just a case of downloading the plugin, away you go.
And I think what people love about it, James, the fact not just the fact it seamlessly integrates with WordPress, but they've got probably thousands of third-party add-ons that solve every solution you could ever.
From membership sites to you name it. Yeah, it's got everything there.
Yeah. If you want to make WooCommerce do a certain thing and add a little bit of extra functionality to your website or to your shopping cart experience, guarantee you that there will be an add-on for that. And you get free add-ons, you get paid add-ons, but there will be an add-on, trust me guys, that will solve the problem for you.
Yeah, it's actually incredible how many. I mean, it's like the App Store there. We've got an app for that. It's very much that kind of thing. There's nothing. I've never seen any solution that's not there for anything I've ever needed through WooCommerce. Yeah,
I think one of the things we need to sort of touch on as well is offline payments, James, because a lot of people, there's a lot of offline businesses out there that need to take payments from customers face to face. So offline payments to those types of bricks and mortar businesses, or even market traders, whatever the case may be, it's important that they can take offline payments, isn't it? And a few solutions to that is obviously PayPal's one of them. They'll provide you with a little device that you can take contactless payments with, and these other two companies, Square and SumUp, will do exactly the same thing. They provide you with a little device where you can take face-to-face contactless payments with your customers, and that solves that problem instantly, doesn't it?
Yeah, and again, they've even got bigger, more intricate systems where you can actually have a full system there, where you've got the computer and the kind of the till, if you like. So lots of clever stuff there where you can print out receipts and things like that. But again, depending on what you are.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an out-and-out e-commerce business, which, let's face it, e-commerce is massive, James, isn't it? Again, these other total solutions, if you like, for those types of businesses. For example, Amazon Pay. Yeah, I think it's fair to say you can pretty much trust Amazon, yeah?
Yeah, well, this guy can buy rockets. I'm sure he's going to be all right for a few quid.
Another great solution here, of course, is Shopify, if you want an all-in-one solution. And another great one is BigCommerce as well. That's a very popular one. So if you want an all-in-one solution where you can build your e-commerce site, where you can have an inbuilt shopping cart and an inbuilt payment processor, there's, again, we're touching the tip of the iceberg here, guys. Yeah, there's 3 solutions instantly for you to go and look at. Yeah,
awesome.
Now, I know it's unlike me, James, but I did a bit of research as well as to what
this man does research all the time.
What people think are the best solutions out there for different categories. Would you be interested in knowing what they are, James?
Go on, Tony, give us it.
Okay, well, from the research I've done online, people consider the best overall provider to be Authorized.net.
Okay.
Now, that will be a surprise to you because you've never even heard of that.
Never even heard of it.
Okay. James, it is massive. Like we said, PayPal was a monster.
This is bigger.
This is big. This is the monster's big brother.
Wow. Right. Okay. Didn't know that.
The runner-up, but the best overall, is one we're all familiar with. Would you like to guess what that is?
PayPal.
Wrong.
WooCommerce.
Stripe.
Stripe. Yeah, Stripe's excellent. I've got Stripe.
Runner-up, but it's the best for overall.
Yeah.
And I can understand why that is, because it integrates with everything. It's super easy to use, and you get your payouts pretty quickly. The transaction fees are low. And certainly very lenient towards online businesses as well, because, as I say, PayPal will shut you down, hold your funds until you can prove where you got it from and how you done it. Stripe's a bit more open. And let's not, guys, what James has just touched on there is super, super important. And this tips into why you need to offer 1, quality products, and 2, quality support.
Yeah,
and support
definitely.
your customers. because trust me, one of the biggest red flags with all these providers is refunds, James, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. When you start refunding, it's like, whoa, this is a scam.
Yeah.
You know, and they just shut you down.
If you start getting customers putting in disputes and chargebacks and all this stuff that we don't want to happen, but it will happen. It's part of the process, guys.
Yeah.
You want to limit it.
Yeah.
And by offering quality products in the first place and offering quality support and after sales, you will reduce that to virtually nothing, and you won't get any red flags, guys. But, you know, if you don't, James, trust me, people will get their accounts banned, they'll get the funds held and all this nasty sort of stuff, won't they?
Absolutely. And I think it's, as you said, Tony, a quality product, and let people know, hi, I'm a real business. This is what I do. If you've got any problems, reach out to me personally, reach out to our support team. We are happy to help. So good instruction at the start of the relationship is imperative to make sure that you don't have yourself shut down rapidly.
Yeah, totally. So what we're saying here, guys, trust me, is wise words. Yeah. Make sure you're only selling quality products or quality, you know, providing quality services. And even more important, make sure you've got an absolutely solid support system set up for your customers, because you will, that's the barrier between them going straight to the credit card company or to PayPal or wherever, putting in a dispute, putting in a chargeback because they can't get support.
Yeah.
And I would say, James, that is probably 90% of the time why people go for a chargeback or something of that nature, because they can't get any support.
Yeah, absolutely. Because people ultimately, if they have took their credit card out of their wallet or they've done a digital transfer, it's because they want what you're selling. But also something to bear in mind here as well, you can't please all of the people all of the time.
Never.
But you can please the majority of the people the majority of the time. So don't take it personally. There is going to be some people that are just downright unreasonable, and sometimes it's better just to give them a refund and let them go. But ultimately, most people, if you've sold, if your sales copy or your product is exactly what you said it is, and you've delivered what you said it was, or if not more, then you should be fine. But sometimes people are very unrealistic, and you've just got to realize that's a part of doing business.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, James, whether you're providing online products or services or whether you're an offline business. You're going to get difficult customers, guys.
Always.
If you can't accept that and expect that and put the processes in place to deal with those situations when they happen, then you shouldn't be in business.
Yeah, it's going to hurt you. It's going to mentally hurt you as well, because if you're not geared up for that, then the general public can be a cruel mistress sometimes. You know, I mean, it really can be.
So get that support system in place, guys, and you will save yourself a lot of headache. And more importantly, you will retain a lot of your money from sales, because you'll deal with the problem before it gets to refund stage. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, the support doesn't always have to be a live chat. I mean, a live chat is great, but if you've got an FAQ section, that is going to solve an awful lot of problems. An awful lot of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we're both saying here, James, you know, our viewers and listeners will get, and it's, you know, put those systems in place, guys. You're going to save yourself a lot of headaches and a lot of refunds. Yeah. Because the last thing you need is tons of refunds coming in because you've got no support or your product's rubbish. That's just going to get your Stripe, PayPal, Authorized Net, Worldpay account banned. Simple as that.
We don't need
and
that.
What are you going to do then? You know, you literally put yourself in a position where you can't trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's move on with these best for and all that sort of thing.
Okay, go for it.
So best for online businesses is
Stripe.
Stripe was the best overall. The best for online businesses is PayPal.
Oh.
Love them or loathe them. They're doing something right, James, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. If you don't see can pay by PayPal, then that business probably is leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. The best for bricks and mortar businesses.
Square.
Hold on a second. We've got that connection, haven't we?
Square, isn't it?
Telepathetic, yeah.
On
You're
the
correct,
telly.
James. It is Square, yeah. A lot of people won't have heard of Square. And that's mainly because, as we've just said, they're the best for bricks and mortar businesses. If you're solely online product or services, then you wouldn't necessarily come across them.
No.
But if you're a bricks and mortar business, guys, and you want to take credit or debit card payments face-to-face, contactless or whatever, then Square is probably a great platform to go and check out.
Yeah.
That's fair to say, James, yeah?
Definitely, definitely. I see it in a lot of local businesses now.
Okay, best for startups.
Triangle. No. Square. We've done Square last time. Right, okay. Startups.
Right, okay.
I'm going to go with
You're just making stuff up.
WooCommerce.
It is Braintree.
All right, okay.
And do you know who owns Braintree, James?
Probably PayPal.
PayPal is Braintree is a PayPal service, basically.
I'm getting better.
This is another thing you've got to understand, guys, yeah? Is that a lot of these businesses, you might think, okay, no, PayPal's not for me, so I'll go to Braintree, when Braintree is actually a PayPal service.
Yeah, I'll still take your money either way.
You'll get a lot of these providers, guys, that are owned by the same businesses. So again, it all comes down to doing your research, because it took me 30 seconds to find out that Braintree was a PayPal service. So
that's 30 seconds. 30 seconds research. Most people
it doesn't
probably won't
have to
do.
take you a lot of effort, guys, to find out this information. Yeah.
Yeah. Google's
now,
your friend.
If you've got multiple channels, so you might have an online business, you might work offline as well, etc. You might have an e-commerce store as well. For multiple channels, there's a platform called WePay. WEPAY, James. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. But yeah, I like
I've
the
heard
concept.
of it. I wouldn't. To say I'm familiar with it would be wrong, but I am aware of it. But because, again, of the types of products and services I personally offer, it's not something I've had to look into. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if you run a multiple channel business, guys, that may be the solution for you. So go and check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of an interesting one, Tony, because again, you'll find a lot of people now they can't really make money from just a full-time income from one niche. So they might have several e-commerce businesses in specific niches. So if you could have 5 or 6 different niches all going into the one platform, that could probably be something that's interesting.
Yeah, totally. And I think what's apparent and what is blindingly obvious here is that there is no one solution fits all, James.
No.
You know, guys, we're doing this episode because, trust me, if you Google shopping cart platforms or payment processing platforms, you'll be overwhelmed. There's hundreds come up, guys. Yeah, and you can look at the comparison blog posts and all that sort of thing. But are they doing those comparisons because it's the best affiliate commission for them?
That's what I was going to say. Are they not coming from a slanted view? Yeah.
So don't be swayed by those comparisons, because ultimately this is your business. It's for you to make the decision of what is the best solution for your business. And you can only do that by investigating and researching all the solutions available. Yeah. But the ones we've discussed today, James, I think it's fair to say that you'd be crazy not to check those out first.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Tony, from this episode, and I know obviously it's not the sex, again, we've said this a few times on a few of our episodes, it's not the sexiest of topics, but it is essential that you get this right, because it can make or break your business. Yeah. So from that point of view, even from watching this full episode, it's allowed you to whittle down from thousands of options to probably about 3 or 4 in each category. So I think this has been a hugely valuable
I think it's fair to say, James, that for any of our viewers or listeners that are new to selling online, or even new to starting new offline businesses or working with offline clients, if they're a consultant, this is important stuff.
Massively.
You need to know and understand what a shopping cart system is. You need to understand what a payment processor is. So this information we're giving you today in this episode, if you're that person, is gold.
Yeah, absolutely. The blinkered online become very, very poor very quickly, and it's so true. If you don't do your research and you don't have, at least if you've got people like us that have got a bit of experience to give you a leg up, you're getting to stand on, to use I wouldn't say we're giants, but standing on the shoulders of people that have done it before, give them a heads up without a doubt.
I think it's fair to say it doesn't matter how good your product or service is, whether it's online or offline. You need a way for people to be able to add that to a basket, and you need a way for them to be able to pay for the products or service, whatever it may be. Yeah. And that's why this is super important, guys, because it's a prerequisite to your online business. You need to know this stuff. It's important. Yeah. And I get when you're new, you don't understand what a shopping cart is. You don't understand what a payment processor is. Why should you? Yeah, you're new. Yeah. And this is what these episodes are all about, to sort of educate you and give you some viable solutions very quickly to save you time and money. Yeah.
Excellent.
Now, I've got one more, James, before we end the episode. Best for selling internationally. Any ideas?
I'm going to go with WooCommerce, but I'd have said PayPal was my go-to.
Okay, well, you're wrong on both those.
Right. Triangle.
Best for selling internationally is to checkout. So number 2, checkout.
Oh, I've seen that quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, they're all over the place, James.
Yeah,
they're way more popular than you first realise.
Yeah.
And that's why they're the best for selling internationally, because they've obviously got a very comprehensive platform that covers a lot of people, which covers a lot of solutions for a lot of people. Yeah. So that's definitely another one to go and check out, guys. Yeah. And again, I'll just remind our viewers and listeners, everything we've mentioned, all the resources in this episode, I will put in a post in the recommended resources area of our website, those2imguys.com. So make sure you go and check that out, guys. Yeah.
Excellent.
So hopefully that's been informative, James. It's important stuff, and I really hope that's helped some of our viewers and listeners. Yeah.
I think it's been an incredible episode, Tony, to be honest, because again, this stuff isn't sexy. It's not exciting. It's not look at the latest flashy gadget to make my business online. But ultimately, if you can't take any money, you're never going to make any profit, and you're never going to get to those flashy, cool things to do as well. So it's been a massive value episode, I've got to say.
No, you're totally right. The two things we've discussed, shopping carts and payment processors, are fundamentally two of the basic things that you need in any online or offline business.
Absolutely. Yeah? Absolutely.
So I think it's fair to say they're pretty critical to you being successful in your business online or offline. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And again, this will take, if people actually take heed to what they've obviously learned within this session, I keep saying session, but episode.
You think we're jamming, don't you?
We're jamming. But yeah, in this episode, I think they will absolutely save so much time. And obviously, even if they pick any of the choices within what we've gave them, they're going to be a lot better off than a lot of the other options that are out there. So, but again, Tony's favourite words, due diligence. Make sure that whatever option is best fitting for your business, go and have a look at that. And then still look out there and check out other possibilities. But the ones that we've recommended are ones that are well established.
Yeah. And again, all the ones we've discussed today are all the ones that we use in our businesses. We know of people that use them in their businesses, fellow vendors, clients, whatever the case may be, and that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
But what we've discussed, guys, is the tip of the iceberg. It's not an exhaustive list.
No.
But I tell you now, it's a great starting point for them, James, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, the amount of money that I could have saved them if they made the wrong choice, this could have made or broke your business, quite literally.
I mean, if you just take one aspect, James, transaction fees. If you're turning over $1,000 a month, or you're turning over $1 million a month, I think the transaction fees you're paying are quite relevant, don't you?
I would say so.
Because the more you're paying transaction fees, guys, guess what? That's less profit in your pocket, yeah?
Definitely.
And that's just one valuable aspect that you need to be looking at as a consideration. And as we've established during this episode, James, there really isn't a one-fits-all solution.
No.
So you're going to have to go out there, look at the resources we mentioned in this episode, but do your own research, find the best overall solution for your type of business, yeah?
And there's a Jewish saying called chutzpah, and you might have heard of it, Tony, but chutzpah is something where you actually use a little bit of bottle and ask a question, because if you're a business doing $1,000 a month, or you're a business doing $1 million a month, you want to contact somebody in that company and say, listen, I want to go with you, but I don't like your rates. I've got $1 million turnover a business a year. What's the best rate you can do for me if I bring my business to you? Ask the question. These people are sales organizations, and they have got people. And again, obviously, I'm talking to people right now that have massive turnover and are looking to make, obviously, cream off a little bit more profit. If you're doing something like that, they are going to want to talk to you because you are a valuable client. Yeah.
And if you go on all these resources and the platforms, guys, I pretty much guarantee that 99.9% of them will show a tiered fee structure anyway.
Right.
To give you a good idea, depending on what your turnover
is.
So that'll give you a good idea about what you're going to be paying in transaction fees, depending on your turnover. But yeah, there really isn't a one-fits-all solution, James. It's about doing your research, doing your due diligence, as we always say, and then you can really narrow down the best solution for you and your business.
Definitely. Tony, it's been a great episode. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Those Two I Am Guys. We really do hope you did enjoy this episode, and we hopefully will see you again very, very soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.